Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muse Jester. My name is Junior. So a bunch of items arrived as I was talking during my review of Boba Fett's Slave 1 ship. So I was very excited about this one. This is the Mandolorian's N-1 Starfighter. Now I do want to constrain my collection with the 3.75-inch Star Wars figures, mostly towards core characters of the original series, but I'm also concentrating more towards starships that intrigues me. So definitely the Mandalorian's N-1 Starfighter is definitely something to look at. That's why I bought it. And also, again, this was on sale for $90. The original price was $129. I believe you can get it at $116 on Amazon right now, but I got it during their Amazon sale. So there's the front, there's the side, there's the back, which is basically the front, and there's a little bit more side. So let's open it up and see what this is like. All right, there it is. I've got him fully assembled. Just a few things. I don't know why. Um, it's. I don't know why I'm trying to really get into this line, but there's a few things that just really kind of um, pokes at me when I'm unboxing it. That tends to cut short any type of enjoyment that I would get from an unboxing. So one of the things that kind of got to me was, so I'm looking at the instructions. I'm looking at this piece over here, the engine cover. You see this? A or B? A or B? A and B? It looks like it's supposed to have two coverings, right? So I had to keep on looking, see if I missed it again somehow, and I can't find it. And I had to go to a video by Bosk's Bounty, a new channel that I've subscribed to because he's mostly into, his channel seems to be mostly about the vintage collection, and obviously I'm getting into it, so he's got a lot of information for me. And even on his review, he's only got one. So I guess it's only supposed to have one covering, but that's just kind of like, if I'm only gonna have one covering, I might as well uncover them both, right? Anyway, so that's one of the things that kind of sticks to my craw. Before we proceed with my view on the vehicle, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure first, because this is only my third figure of the 3.75 vintage collection, and I wanted to look at it and see what's going on. Okay, so there he is. There's the figure. I'm just putting up the cape a little bit up so we can see more on the detail on what's going on. I'm impressed by the amount of detail, again, that they're able to put in such a small figure, and a lot of color too. If you can look at it, look, dark blue, light blue, yellow, red, silver, brown. Let's take a look at this blue. This blue is a different type of blue as this one than this one. This is a different kind of red, more of a brownish than this red. So there's a lot of color going on in the figure alone, which is why it's impressive. Can we take off this cape? Yeah, let's just take that off for now. So articulation in the head is awesome, really is. Get you everything you need to. Articulation on the shoulders, awesome. This does not even hamper it. How does that work? I think it's just connected down here at the bottom. All around, no problem. Elbow is a single elbow, but it's so small, and the way it's designed, it's past 90. That's almost like 100 degrees, right? And of course you have the elbow twist, so that's good. You have a wrist joint that seems to go up and down, so that's good. You have the strap down here that connects to the waist, is going to hinder your movement on the chest a little bit, but honestly, look at that, it's still able to hold it. There's no resistance whatsoever, so that's good. Forward is not too much, back is not too much, a lot of side to side. There's a waist twist here, but I don't know, with that belt, no, there isn't a waist twist, there's just a waist cut. Okay, no drop down joint. It's got a holster over there, but this skirt piece that he has is soft and pliable, not necessarily a whole 90 degrees, but good enough. And I'm looking at the joint to make sure I don't break it. Another single joint on the knee, but it gets you to 90. The boots can go pretty high and up, and of course it's got an ankle twist, which is what's really impressive for something this small. All this articulation. As for the accessories, they're so small, it's kind of hard for me to hold. Looks like some sort of a knife, but I've got a small thing here that I gotta cut off. He's got the dark saber. He's got his pistol, the Beskar spear, and the jetpack. The jetpack is just plain silver. That's actually kind of disappointing, seeing as how colorful the figure is. Notice the difference of unpainted plastic compared to the figure. Now, I am truly impressed with the detail that's on this figure, even though, look at that, look at those. Even though it doesn't have a face, I'm truly impressed by the amount of color that's in this figure. So much so that now we go back to the review of the vehicle. So as much as I am impressed by the amount of detail and paint application on the figure, it certainly accentuates the I guess I would use the word disappointment when I first handled the vehicle. So it's got paint, it's got weathering, but then they kind of stop short on certain parts. Like now it's just, this is a nice silvery paint, but then this is just bare plastic. And then as I was installing these, again, bare plastic, no paint application whatsoever. Right? But I cannot deny that this is still a striking vehicle. But I mean, that lends to the fact that I think the design is awesome from the TV series. And it's certainly, the toy certainly does its job of getting the feel of how it's supposed to look. It's smooth, which is still coming over from the Naboo's design, but it's putting out these interesting engine things going on and all that stuff, you know. So it's definitely there. The potential is there. This is again a $90 item. Let me talk about how this thing goes. The canopy slides forward, so that's a nice play feature. You can, I think you can still kind of put, you can still try to put Mando in through the cockpit using that. Yeah, you can kind of squeeze it in there if you want to do that play feature. You can see Grogu over there, Baby Yoda. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still thinking of him as Baby Yoda. Like, if you're gonna make a name, I mean, like, why Grogu? Grogu doesn't sound cute. He just like sounds like he's groggy. So there's a tab over here you can use to lift it up, and this whole cockpit section comes up, which allows you to more easily put Mando in there. What is his real name anyway? We call him just Mando, but I mean, that's short for Mandalorian, right? So look, he sits nicely. He looks comfortable in the cockpit, so that's really nice. This also serves as a compartment for your things. I believe you can put this here, and then the rest of the equipment in here as well. The cockpit goes all the way to the back, so I think you can put in the spear in there. At least that's what the, yeah, you can put the spear in there if you want to. Again, a lot of detail going on. Even here, the instruments here, a lot of detail, just not a lot of paint, and all that stuff. So then the engine, you can take out, again, the same problem with closing this up. So you can replace Grogu over here. and put in the one for your droid, which I don't have any droids. And then you can put this in for your droid. He doesn't come with a droid. Like, no covering. Couldn't you at least have that as an accessory? Just the top. You don't need to give us the full droid. I'm just saying, if you're gonna have this, might as well add the droid in, right? Also, they have two types of stands, so I appreciate that. I think, honestly, this goes like this. Okay. But I don't see the need for that because I think this is better. I think this stand is the better option. It allows you to pose the ship in a lot of ways that this doesn't. I think this is if you want him to simulate as if it's just on the ground, and then you can have Mando on the side of it, walking or something. But what I would have preferred instead of this one is to include the head for the droid unit, which is what you put in here. Because it doesn't make sense to me that this is to simulate an empty spot for the droid when it has this top. Does that make sense? If this was to simulate an empty container for the droid, then why would you have this? Wouldn't it just be like an empty cavity in there? So if you're gonna have that, then why didn't you just put it like a dome, the dome part of the droid unit? So look at how it displays. That thing's just beautiful. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm regretting it. Look, on screen it looks massive. It's just small in hand though. I'm not saying I regret buying it. For $90 you get this piece. I don't have any Mandalorian, so it's not a double for me. So these guys are usually going for 15 bucks, right? Grogu with the cradle is another 12 bucks. So the figures alone is worth at least $20 in my opinion. And I got it for $90. So that means the whole vehicle is $70. So now I'm judging again the value of this unit for the price that I got it for, which is $90. Minus the 20 of the figure, that gives it 70. So of course, for me, the value is pretty high. I would say around 12 if the price is with a base price of 10, with a 10 base price, you know. So the value for this one is high. If I had purchased this at $129 and I already had this figures, if I was a vintage collection, if I was a vintage collector and I was buying this, which probably means I have a Mando already, which probably means I have a Grogu already, and it was $129, all these nitpicks that I'm picking up as a new collector would really be kind of sticking in my craw, I think. For me, the two figures are higher in value because I don't have them at all. So that's pretty good. Now, I'm just getting into the vintage collection, mostly because of the ships and the beautiful work that they've done on the figure. And I'm going to tell you right now, the amount of work they do on the figure is a much higher quality than what they do with the vehicles, as far as I'm concerned. For this particular piece, this is a new item, newly designed. It's based off of the Naboo ship, but it has nothing about the Naboo ship carries over from here. This is a completely brand new mold. Unlike the Slave 1 over here, which we know came from an older mold, 2009, over 15 years ago, and it still carried over the mistakes from the original mold. So this is still the exact same toy that was produced over a decade ago with just new paint application. So in a way, for me, it's forgivable, the things that carried over, because it's an old production. This one is not an old production. This is a new production. Um, and I have to kind of put that in my evaluation of the line. So here's my plan with the Star Wars vehicles 3.75 collection. If it was a vehicle that's been previously released before, I have a sneaking suspicion that Disney Hasbro will be reusing old molds, old recent molds, and just repainting them up. And if that's the case, one, if this is the type of repainting that they're doing where it's barely passable, then I might as well get the older released ships, if I could get it for a cheaper price, because I don't need it to be in box. I could lose the missiles or anything like that, and I'd be fine with it, because I'm just there to display it. Maybe play with it by opening up the cockpit and all that stuff, but I don't really need the missile firing stuff. If it's missing missiles, that's fine with me. I could just get a better deal on eBay for older ships and paint it up myself, which is what I'm gonna have to end up doing in this one anyway. I was thinking of doing that with Slave 1, just to darken it up a little bit and punch up the detail. I was kind of disappointed that this is a brand new ship, brand new design, that they ended up, that I'm going to have to end up doing the same thing as repainting it to punch it up. It still categorizes as an actual toy, not as a collector, not as a collectible. And for the price, I think for the price of $129 or even close to $100, it should have been more. The other thing I've noticed is there are no longer the gimmicks. There are no longer missile firing stuff, and anything like that. No more electronics, no more sounds. It's bare plastic toy. It's bare. That's it. It's bare functions. And if that's the case, in order to minimize the price point, I'm okay with that. But they should have done more on the paint, because the design looks great, and everything. The paint just suffers. The detail is there. It's unbelievably there. So that's basically it for my review of the N-1 Starfighter from the Mandalorian. I'm gonna have to say the value is there. It's not as high as I think it could have been. I believe with the base price that I got it for $90, the value goes at around $12. It's okay. I think the design is what really pulls it off, but I have to repaint it. It's kind of like 12 or 11 for me, honestly. If I had paid full price on this one, 120, if I had been an older vintage collector and I had to pay full price on this one, and I already have the Mandalorian figure and the Yoda figure, I don't think this was worth $130. Honestly, when it was first introduced, I laughed at the idea of paying $130 for a 3.75 ship, knowing it was going to be around this scale. But even then, I would have thought they would have done a much better job with painting, because I think that with the older releases, they're actually painted much better than their current counterparts. Meaning that, yes, they might have lesser paint applications or paint colors, but they would have been all fully painted, not bare plastic like this. That's what I think. But I'll see, because I purchased a lot on eBay. I bought the Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker Starfighter from The Revenge of the Sith, both of them. And I also bought, spoilers, the Millennium Falcon, the Legacy Collection, because I think I got it at a good price. We'll talk about that some more. There was no way I couldn't afford or be willing to pay for any kind of how much the Galaxy's Edge version was, considering it's basically the same ship with different paint application. So again, paint application that's not perfect, and at that price point, it should have been perfect or close to perfect or more painted than what we're seeing right now. That's my main issue with these toy lines. It's not fully painted, and coming from this guy who's got so much stuff going into it for such a small figure, it is disappointing to have to be able to customize and paint it up, that I would be required to do so just to bring out the full potential of the ship. But definitely this base is a plus. I wish all of the Starfighters, I wish all their ships had bases like these. Even the one from the Slave 1 base was pretty good, but to be able to do this, that's amazing. That's a big plus. So that's it for my review. Thank you for watching. I hope you stay tuned some more. Obviously, I have more stuff coming in, or I have more stuff that came in. Bo-Katan I got. I was able to get the AT-ST. Again, that's a reissue of an older vehicle. And I got the speeder bike Scout Trooper with Grogu, but I think I'll be returning that. They were $25 each, and I saw three on eBay for $50. So that's basically what, less than $20, $18 per figure and vehicle. Basically kills that one. So for the same price of $50, I got 3 instead of 2. So I think I'll be returning those. I haven't opened them up anyway, but we'll see. The next few days, as those things start to come in, I will have more videos coming up and everything. Well, anyway, thank you. Good night. I hope you stay tuned and watch out for my videos. Bye.